boxing world has been buzzing after it was revealed this week that Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez recently held a high-stakes meeting with Saudi boxing mogul Turki Alalia. The meeting was kept under wraps until now, with both fighters agreeing to address the media on separate days to avoid a leak about a heated exchange that took place in front of the influential Saudi figure. Crawford, who had been waiting patiently to see if Alalia could lure Alvarez into a high-stakes deal, saw it as the perfect moment for the three to come together and iron out the details. The goal of the sit-down was to move past the media noise and have a real conversation about making the fight happen. However, things weren't smooth sailing. Canelo proved to be tough to negotiate with, especially when it came to his price demands, which frustrated Crawford and led to a brief verbal altercation between the two.
But it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We're not talking about yet about the fight. Me and we're gonna know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you want?
But after July 13th, all of the major fighters get tethered. Just as things seemed to escalate, Alalia stepped in to defuse the situation, which ultimately resulted in Canelo lowering his demands and making the showdown seem like a real possibility. Soon after, both fighters attended the Ring Magazine Awards in London, where more talks took place under the guidance of Alalia. According to ESPN Knockout's renowned journalist Julius Julianus, an agreement may already be in place.
He's named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see. Everything is...
The two are reportedly set to face off in September in Las Vegas, with Alalia himself hinting that everything is falling into place, telling Ring Magazine, "The ring is the Bible of boxing, and we are close to seeing the white smoke on the horizon. 2025 will be a crazy year for boxing, and I mean it." While discussions had stalled previously, with Alalia struggling to break the deadlock with Canelo, both fighters were seen together after the talks, signaling that progress had been made.
Possible. We'll see. We want to talk about it, sit down really well, and figure out something.
I know you thought he was kind of a lose-lose situation.
Fans are now on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting what could be one of the most anticipated matchups in boxing history. Although the fight is still not officially confirmed, the potential for a Crawford versus Canelo showdown has fans around the world talking. Canelo, who last fought in September, successfully defended his unified super middleweight titles against Edgar Berlanga, while Crawford recently moved up to 154 pounds and claimed the WBA super welterweight title with a dominant win over Israel Madrimov.
There's loads of things going around at the moment, including a big clash with Canelo Alvarez. Can you tell us what's going on in that situation, and can that happen next?
We shall see.
The buzz for this fight began shortly after Crawford's triumph over Madrimov in August 2024, with many speculating that the two would eventually meet in the ring. Canelo continued his dominance in the super middleweight division, defending his titles and cementing his legacy as one of the top fighters of his generation.
To come our way and me and him get in the ring, then it'll be an electrifying fight. You know.
Meanwhile, Crawford, the undisputed champion in multiple weight classes, is eager to add Canelo's name to his list of scalps. The two gifted fighters are now on track for what could be the biggest fight of their careers. As the excitement builds, Crawford sent a chilling message to Canelo on social media promising to shock the world when they finally clash. "I'm gonna shock the world. Watch. The best is yet to come. I've had it in my back pocket this whole time."
It won't be like any other fight that he's fought recently, and it'll be a well-fought fight.
The potential showdown between Terence "Bud" Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is stirring up major buzz in the boxing world, but despite Crawford's confidence, it's clear that this fight is going to be a monumental challenge. Crawford, who would need to move up 2 weight divisions to face the 34-year-old Mexican superstar, is up against a fighter who has had tremendous success at super middleweight. defeating big names like Gennady Golovkin, Caleb Plant, and Jermell Charlo, the greatest Plant and Jermell Charlo. While Crawford remains unfazed and believes he can overcome any opponent, including Alvarez, his conviction is met with questions about the physical disparity between the two.
Fight for both of us, I believe.
Any doubt in your mind that you beat him?
Of course I beat him. It ain't no doubt in my mind that I won't beat anybody that I step in the ring with.
Amir Khan, the only fighter to have faced both Crawford and Alvarez, weighed in on the potential clash in an interview with Box Nation. Khan, who fought Canelo at a catchweight of 155 pounds, acknowledged Canelo's significant size advantage, noting that size plays a major role in boxing. Canelo's a beast, man. I've fought both of those guys, and I feel like size always wins. There's a reason weight divisions exist, Khan said, explaining how much the weight difference could impact the fight.
Look, I like Crawford, and I think Canelo is a beast at that weight. Honestly, I would advise Crawford not to do that.
Khan also emphasized the challenge Crawford would face going up against such a physically dominant fighter, despite his admiration for Crawford's talent. Terence is special, don't get me wrong, but when you're hit by someone like Canelo, it's different. It's going to be a tough fight, but I'm rooting for my boy Terence. He also pointed out that Crawford doesn't necessarily need this fight given his already legendary status in the sport. But if it's a big payday, it's understandable why Crawford might take on such a challenge. Despite the concerns, Khan praised Crawford's skill and his ability to compete at the highest level, although he reiterated the risks involved in such a dangerous bout. "We never want to see fighters get hurt," he added.
Canelo versus Jermell Charlo playing out.
I think Canelo just outboxes. Well, no, doesn't outbox him, but I think just outpowers him and beats him to the punch. And you do
Albuses, tridents, etc. And in the midst of growing speculation, Canelo Alvarez recently addressed the rumors with a brief yet intriguing response: "I'm open to talk." His statement has only added fuel to the fire, further heightening anticipation for what could be the biggest fight of 2025. Shakur Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion, weighed in as well, stating that he believes Crawford will defeat Canelo.
Rumors of Canelo and obviously your good friend, mentor, Terence Crawford. A lot of people a few years ago would have said that's crazy, but I think everybody, when they see the talent of Terence Crawford...
Stevenson has been saying for years that Crawford will come out on top in this matchup, claiming, "I've been saying this for years now. I'm probably the first one who said it, even before Terence did. I always thought that Crawford would beat Canelo." Stevenson's prediction only adds to the growing excitement, although the fight is expected to be anything but easy. So, as for Crawford's approach, it's unlikely he'll stand toe-to-toe with Canelo, despite Stevenson's bold prediction.
Weight classes, he's a special fighter, pound for pound. I think many will say #1 in the world, alongside the likes of people like yourself and that great list that we've got at the minute. Is he the man to beat Canelo?
Crawford typically uses movement and precision rather than engaging in a slugfest, and his performance against Errol Spence was more of an exception, given Spence's less than optimal condition after his car accident. So Crawford is expected to rely on his defensive skills, jab, and elusive footwork, making for an intriguing tactical battle when he faces Canelo in what could be the pay-per-view event of his career. Chris Mannix weighed in on the potential for Terence Crawford to take a tune-up fight before his highly anticipated showdown with Canelo Alvarez in September. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Mannix cautioned that moving up to a higher weight class, especially above 160 pounds, is always risky. While a tune-up fight might seem like a smart move, it's unlikely that Crawford will risk such a fight before facing Canelo, given the stakes.
Beat Canelo.
Yes, honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody who is mentally...
Also, when you put tune-up fights in a grandstanding fight, you're likely to meet at least one death or separation in the process. If Crawford does compete in this weight class, it's more likely to be at a catchweight of around 163 or 164 pounds, potentially against a middleweight moving up. Possible opponents for this bout could include Heron McKenna, Liam Smith, Austin Williams, or Sharon Davis, fighters who rank lower in the middleweight division and pose minimal threat to Crawford's skill set. Yeah. Hall of Famer and ESPN analyst Timothy Bradley is confident that Crawford can win the potential clash against Canelo.
It's mentally as strong as Terence Crawford, so I can't wait to watch it.
Your gym's an exciting gym. You all bounce off each other. You got the likes of Keyshawn. Everyone sort of mixing. That mentality in that gym, what is it? How is it different from any other gym? I've got to ask you because...
In a passionate argument posted on his YouTube channel, Bradley pushed back against the doubters. Everyone keeps talking about the weight, Bradley said. But let's not forget, Crawford only recently moved up from welterweight to 154 pounds, while Alvarez has been fighting at 158 pounds since late 2020. Bradley dismissed the idea that Canelo would knock Crawford out, pointing out that it's been a while since Canelo scored a knockout, with his last stoppage coming in November 2021 against Caleb Plant.
Someone told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez.
Since then, Canelo has struggled to stop top opponents like Dmitry Bivol and Canelo Golovkin, and even went the distance with fighters who were considered below his level, such as John Ryder, Jaime Munguia, and Edgar Berlanga. Bradley also noted that Crawford has proven his skill at middleweight and that his exceptional reach, 3.5 inches longer than Canelo's, could play a major role in neutralizing Canelo's offensive game. Crawford's counter-punching ability, combined with his ability to control distance, could help him outbox Canelo and win a decision. Bradley also took a jab at Canelo's recent avoidance of a fight with David Benavidez, humorously mimicking Canelo's voice and recalling the Mexican fighter's earlier remarks about an easy fight with Benavidez. You remember what you said? Easy fight, easy fight, easy fight, Bradley quipped. While many in the boxing community believe the size and power difference between Canelo and Crawford will be too great for Crawford to overcome, Bradley remains confident in his take.
Where'd you start? You started in Mexico, man. Go back, get one of those guys out of there, man. Go back, start there. That's where you start. Go back to your roots, bro. Get some of that humble pie, bro. Go back, start where you started. Start where you started it.
I'm going to get back to my hater rate, he joked at the end of his video, sipping his drink. Despite differing opinions, Bradley firmly believes Crawford can take down Canelo and is ready to back his bold prediction. As Crawford, who became the undisputed welterweight champion in July 2023 after defeating Errol Spence Jr., continues to make history in the boxing world, all eyes are on whether the highly anticipated showdown with Canelo will come to fruition. Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican boxing superstar, has enjoyed continued success in recent years, securing the undisputed super middleweight title in 2021.
Just with Canelo, obviously he had his fight with Edgar Berlanga announced recently. Not received necessarily a positive outcome and reaction he'd have liked. What did you make of the Canelo Berlanga?
While he suffered a setback in a challenge against Dmitry Bivol for the WBA light heavyweight crown, the 34-year-old has since bounced back with 5 consecutive victories, including wins over Gennady Golovkin, Jermell Charlo, and Edgar Berlanga. Now all eyes are on a potential mega fight between Alvarez and Terence Crawford, a match that has generated significant buzz in the boxing world. Legendary boxing trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas shared his thoughts on the highly anticipated clash during an interview with Fight Hub TV, expressing his belief that Crawford's determination would make him a tough opponent for the Mexican champion. Very few people have the appetite or inclination for challenging themselves. Mr. Crawford does. I ain't never going against that guy, Atlas said.
Listen, I think Berlanga's a talented kid who's getting better. He's improved recently. I think he still needs more seasoning, but I see an improvement in him. He is a talented kid.
So, while acknowledging Canelo's size advantage, power, and experience, Atlas believes Crawford's ability to adjust and implement a game plan would make the fight interesting. Crawford will come up with a game plan that will make the other guy use his size. End quote. So Atlas believes Crawford's ability to adjust and implement a game plan would make the other guy use his size. Crawford, guided by trainer Brian McIntyre, has conquered world titles in 4 different weight divisions and is now targeting a historic showdown with Alvarez.
Get them legs in some shape. Make sure the legs are in good shape because you have to side movement. Is that a fight you would recommend for him?
Having recently defeated Israel Madrimov to claim the WBA super welterweight title at 154 pounds, Crawford is looking to prove his dominance by moving up 2 weight classes to face the super middleweight king. Yes, the super middleweight king. Crawford is looking to prove his dominance by moving up 2 weight classes, or showdown with although Alvarez has only lost twice in his career against Bivol and Floyd Mayweather, McIntyre plans to study Canelo's loss to Bivol closely. If the fight ever materializes, that's the fight I would go back and watch, McIntyre said on the Luke Thomas YouTube channel.
This is real simple. It's real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that. Terence gonna get in there and do what he needs to do, perform.
Despite doubts from some analysts regarding Crawford's ability to compete at super middleweight, the fight has captivated the imagination of boxing fans worldwide. Many wonder if Crawford, who is known for his speed, technique, and power, can overcome the size disadvantage against Canelo, who has established himself as a force in the 168-pound division. Still, Crawford remains confident that he can implement his boxing style and impose his will on the Mexican superstar.
And hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Smith. It's real simple. Real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that.
With Canelo's habit of scheduling 2 fights per year, one in May and one in September, around Mexico's Independence Day, the speculation surrounding his next opponent is growing. Due to Canelo's reluctance to take on David Benavidez, the WBC's mandatory challenger, Crawford has emerged as a strong contender for the first fight of 2025.
Over with now, or are we still waiting for that second fight to happen?
I don't know, man. I don't know. They still got to go. Got to work things out and see where they go from there.
I know Tim Cruz made him float around out there as an opponent. What do you want Crawford to do?
Butter stop him.
However, given that Crawford fights at 154 pounds, 2 divisions below Canelo's usual weight, some question whether this matchup makes sense from a competitive standpoint. Nevertheless, both Crawford and promoter Sheikh Turki Al-Sheikh are reportedly working to convince Canelo to accept the fight, with Crawford seeking a lucrative payday in the process. And they suggest that the 3 fights may deal with payday one of these 2 Olympic days. Since Canelo's potential fight against Crawford has sparked considerable media attention, but Alvarez might have other exciting options to start the year. One such name is undefeated Frenchman Christian Billalili, a 28-year-old with a 28-0 record, who could be a contender for the WBC title. Billalili, who defeated Sergey Derevyanchenko in his most recent bout, is another possible opponent for Canelo as he looks ahead to 2025. End footnote. Billalili has contender for the WBC title as he looks ahead to 2025. A potential September matchup between William Skoll, the IBF challenger, and Canelo Alvarez has been ruled out. The IBF stripped Canelo of his undisputed title for refusing to fight the Cuban contender, and as a result, Canelo lost his world championship status. However, discussions surrounding a potential fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford, with a possible showdown in May or September, continue to excite boxing fans. The latter includes staying away from the newsletter and seeing the upcoming release of his latest book, The World Champion Contender. Crawford, who is eyeing a 3rd undisputed crown, has received high praise from his trainer, Brian McIntyre, who told Fight Hub TV that Crawford has all the necessary tools to emerge victorious. Any hardcore boxing fan knows Crawford, and if you want to talk about him beating Canelo, you have to understand boxing to say that, McIntyre added.
that believes in hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Spence.
So, like, the topic of Conor Benn's recent performance, McIntyre was less impressed. I think he looked like trash. I didn't watch the fight, but some of the coaches were watching it as I was driving, and